Hello, welcome to episode 158 of We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I am Stevie Wildcard.
And every week, Steve Walcott and I get together and we do our best to overcome the various issues and obstacles that life throws our way, mostly my way. Steve, my life's a mess all the time. I am upside down, stutter at all times.
I'm going to be honest. It's been weird, like succeeding back to back to back these last few weeks. Cause like I fail so consistently during like the bulk of our projects, but then like at the end I always just like am like this like warrior knight just like slicing through everything.
I think this is what happened. Like, for those of you who aren't very familiar with our show, welcome. First of all, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We get together every week and we do this. Mostly we talk about the pop culture, our lives, what's going on, and what we're doing, but we always kind of sandwich each episode with how we did and what we plan on doing every week. Steven, though, every week you do this thing. I think it's like mental gymnastics. Like, you are an Olympian up here, because this is what I think you're doing. You set me up in the best way possible. You're like, oh, no. I'm going to do 1,000,000 pages. You know, you're not going to do 1,000,000 pages. Everyone knows you're not going to do 1,000,000 pages. So it's not really failing, because everyone knows that you never.
It's impossible. It's an impossibility.
It's impossible. So if you set the standard so high that it's absurd, anything you do is applauded by me and everyone. So much so that I can call you a failure as a joke, and it's okay. And like,
and I'm just safe the whole time, baby.
You're safe the whole time. and then what happens is at the end, you have less work to do, because you only have like, you do the bulk of the work. And then like at the end, when I'm like, oh man, I have to like catch up, I got to letter all this stuff, I have to do all this, I'm getting this book together, I have to make sure everything's working. And you're like, yeah, but I have to put this one page together. Guess what? I succeeded.
How did you do? How did you do, Anthony?
How did you do? Okay, I'm gonna tell you, Steven, despite everything, first of all, did you totally succeed this week?
I totally did. So yeah, like I wanted to do a special page for the people that like bought their appearances, mostly because also like some of the appearances, I mean, they're an appearance in the book. We have to squeeze them. They have to be put in. And I just wanted everyone that did that to have like a double acknowledgement, basically. Right. So I created an entire page where I gave everyone a portrait that's a little bit more accurate to how they look in like a more, like how they look in real world. And I just wanted to like commemorate them. And I thought it was a pretty clever idea to make it like the Game Dragon Employee of the Month.
It was so good. So Steve and I are working on a book called Deathless. It's a supernatural action horror comedy. The first issue you can find on our website at www.wehaveissuespodcast.com. We'll send you, like signed copies or whatever you want, order it there. But for, people who have backed our Kickstarter, you have the opportunity to be in each issue as we're making it. A lot of people are like, you pay this amount, you'll be in the next issue. We're like, no, we're gonna find a way to make this work. And so far, we've done awesome at this, and I'm super proud of it. But like the thing that Steven's talking about is, instead of just putting people's pictures on a random page, or like making you a random background character, people are random background characters, and in addition to that, have an extra cool page that is dedicated to them. And it looks so cool, Steven. I love that idea. I love having those extra fun pages.
And it just worked for the concept too, because they were all employees of the Game Dragon that were basically possessed, so it just worked out. It was just a pretty cool concept to add to the back of the book. And
yeah, Steven, I guess like what you're really getting at though is that you did amazing. I didn't do so amazing in life.
You actually did really great considering what you're juggling.
Okay.
And you're still technically gonna finish by the time this airs, probably. So
yeah, that's fair.
If not after you edit, and then you only got a little bit left. So
yeah. So I am in the process of lettering this comic book, so there's something to read. Although I mean, it doesn't even need it. I feel like my words are just making it worse. Your art is so beautiful. I can't put any of it up. No, but like I've been lettering the comic. I'm almost done. I'm way more than halfway done. I think I'm on page, was it like 15 now, 16, something like that? Like I'm getting there. And then I specifically took off the next 2 days so I can finish it. So like that was
awesome.
Yeah, dude. So I technically failed, because I really did want to try to finish the book this weekend. But this week I had issues, Steven. I had issues. Before we get into my issues, because I feel like I talk too much and I want to hear some good news first. Like let's sandwich this. This is what we're going to do. We're gonna talk about your issues because your issues are great and positive. We're gonna talk about my garbage life. We're gonna just like spiral that drain, like gonna swirl down the Charybdis. Which one was the whirlpool and which one was like the monstery situation? It was Scylla and Charybdis. Was Charybdis the whirlpool?
This is something I have no
You
knowledge
don't know
of.
that? Oh, okay. I bet it's like the Rock and a Hard. It's the Odyssey. It's like with the
Homer?
sirens home. Yeah, the Homer stuff where it's like there was. I'm pretty sure it was Charybdis is the giant pit of doom in the water. That's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna visit my pit of doom, and then after that we're gonna find our way out of there with some positivity. And we're gonna try our best to do this. But let's start off. Steven, you texted me today and you told me something awesome, and I feel like you're super proud and I'm super excited and happy for you. So let's talk about that.
So Chasey, she's our youngest. She turning 6 this month, so she's starting kindergarten, and because she's in the unfortunate month of September birthdays, she has to start an entire year late. She's literally already been in she's been in preschool since 3, kindergarten, all that, blah 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 blah. So we were like, oh man, we don't know what to do. Like, I think she's advanced, like, but like I'm afraid of anyways. So before she starts school, she takes this little standardized test thing just to see where she's placing and like all the other kids. And my little Chasey is in the top 1% of the entire country, which is awesome. And it totally checks because that kid is totally brilliant. But as a parent, I mean, I think Cambria is brilliant too. You know what I'm saying? But like as a parent, of course you think your kids are brilliant, but to have like that confirmation, like, no, this kid's like,
oh yeah,
got something here.
No, it's amazing, and she's so cute and so great. And I'm excited for it. Like, was she super proud and happy about it all?
She was. Yeah. She's such a goofball. Like I love her to death because like she's Chasey. She's her own. She's her own thing. But like, yeah, she was just loving all the love because when I picked her up from school, like Tina had texted me this while I was at work, so I picked them up from school, their aftercare, and I'm just like, Chasey, like this is crazy, blah, 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 blah. And she's like glowing and stuff. And Cammy's like, but I'm smarter than Chasey. I'm like, so here's the thing, Cammy. This is how it works. I was like trying to explain. I'm like, yeah, Chasey, because I never really tested that high. So you have more wisdom than Chasey, but I think Chasey has like this crazy, like ultra instinct potential that you and I just don't have, and that's okay. Like you do great at many things. Chasey does great at this thing, and that's the way it is. Listen, sometimes
he's gonna take over the world. This is the Antichrist. To get in your place. What are you doing, other child?
Use the face. No. I wouldn't have even like gone that true on her, but like she was like, I'm smarter than you, Chase. And I'm like, okay, if you're gonna play this game,
let's not be mean about this.
But I made sure to include myself in that too. I was like, listen, Kimmy, it's not just like, I'm just saying Chasey's in a, like, it's how she can learn things. And I've noticed it as she's grown, but like, it's just awesome. It's awesome to see that.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's wonderful. And like, I love that you're already overthinking it.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to mess her up. I don't want to be under or overbearing. I need to be.
How do I parent you?
I need to properly bear her. I need to be like a black bear because I feel like they're the most proper bear. Like they steal stuff. They eat meat sometimes. They steal stuff from the trash cans, but they're not grizzly bears. They're not a big old monster that's just going to tear.
Yeah, it's rough. Parenting in general is just an interesting, weird thing to navigate. Like you
basically just have to go into every moment with just not overthinking every moment because there's gonna be so many moments. There's gonna be so many things.
Oh, it's so weird all the time. There's so many things. I mean, I'm always like your girls are amazing. I'm always super just proud and I'm just like, oh god, I don't know what I'm doing right, but I'm doing it because like Atlas is awesome.
Atlas is the sweetest, most well-behaved, well-spoken little boy I've ever met. Like the kid is just awesome.
Yeah, he's so sweet.
My kids are rascals.
Yeah,
your kid is not a rascal. He is a good kid.
Oh yeah, for now. I mean, what cracks me up about Atlas is he always wants to be the villain in everything, and he does that thing. Okay, so we play pretend. We'll go outside and we'll play pretend, and he does this thing where how when you create stories and it's like, okay, yeah, it's just like the hero's journey. There's going to be a good guy and a bad guy. The good guy wants something. The bad guy tries to stop them in some way. They're the antagonistic force. The good guy has to overcome this. They get a thing. And they win in the end. They get the trophy, the treasure, the character development. Well, Atlas is like, I'm the villain. And I'm like, okay. Well, here's the thing about that. Now, in our pretend, do you want me to lose? Because you're the villain, right? Like
You're the
so,
villain, so you're not
like,
supposed to. But
like,
listen, man,
yeah,
it's your
it's
story.
your story. I don't want to. Yeah, I'm not gonna like if you want to Thanos snap this and like it's just the end of this. Like okay, but that's so it goes there where I'm like okay, but buddy, would you really want to do this? Like, are you who do you really want to win here? He's like, we're playing pretend, Dad. I'm like, you're right. This is just storytelling. I understand. Oh God, my son is gonna he's gonna ruin the world. Destroy everything. He's the sweetest little boy. Of course,
it's like the opposite of Megamind. Maybe I don't want to be the good guy anymore. It's just the flip. Like,
but yeah, dude, that's amazing about Chasey, and I'm sure Cammy is gonna be funny about it for a little, like
oh yeah,
but
I mean, they're always in a weird
of course.
competition because they're sisters, and
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, and like the age difference is just enough. Where it's like
Chase, yeah, and Chase looks. I mean, and honestly, to some extent, Chase has a lot to thank Cambria for because Cambria was very much a teacher. Chase was always ahead because Cambria was always right there. But then again, Chase was always able to receive everything Cambria was teaching too. So they're great. They're wonderful. I wouldn't trade them for anyone. But so yeah, just dealing with that, which is very great news for me.
Wonderful.
However, not all of us get to live outside the whirlpool. Not all of us get to keep their feet planted on dry land.
Yeah, some of us are just on a ship, just sailing through these weird waters of life, Stephen. What is this thing that I'm doing now? So recently, Stephen, it's such a weird thing to have a show and like have a podcast because it's like I'm constantly like, okay, well, this is just a conversation with my best friend. It's cool, and then like I have that moment where I'm like, oh man, everyone like anyone who watches this is gonna know these things, and like, but I do prefer to only to like be able to share things, like I've had some things like happen in the past where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to share that on the show. And it feels weird. It feels uncomfortable. And like there's an affectation going on. Like there's some kind of wall. And I feel like we're losing something, like there's a spirit that's gone, and I'm just like, I don't
like a natural charm that's.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Cause like the show's all about having issues and overcoming them, doing what we can. And like sometimes just just experiencing them, and I feel like, in kind of hiding some of those things, like and or like are the way we mourn or recover from those various things. Like in hiding that, I feel like we're like keeping a specific or like particular relatability away from people. Like people who are going through things can probably understand what we're going through.
Instead of everyone just standing in shadows and darkness together, you can like flip a light on and maybe you don't feel so alone in the room,
Yeah, I mean, like maybe if we all pee in the whirlpool's mouth at once, it'll spit us out. Is what
maybe it's the whirlpool's kink and we satisfy it.
And it never. Yeah, it's just like oh, I've had enough, and we're like,
and now it wow pool, so it's just like wow, thank you guys.
it's Owen Wilson's mouth. Wow, wow.
Just a little urine, so urine. Was that so hard?
Oh. I peed in your mouth. I urine for more.
Okay. I urine for more.
Sorry, I needed to get that out. So recently, I was
that guy ate asparagus. Sorry, go ahead. Why does it do it? I don't understand. It's instantaneous too. Like you can literally take a bite and start peeing, and it's already happened. I don't know what's happening there. Anyways, sorry.
So life ate asparagus and on my face. No,
it's just starting to pee all over you.
All over me. I got
smell that rich urine.
But I was recently in a relationship. I was a long distance relationship, which Steven's like, it's weird because it's something that like I've always been really reluctant to engage in at all. And this time I was like, it was just a situation I kind of found myself in and kind of went with because it was like, oh, this is someone I really like. I really, I'm enjoying like our interactions. It seems promising, and it's, I really like her, and she's fun, and we have the same like very similar interests, and like she's an editor and a writer, and like really smart and cool, and like
it's always so cool to like share those commonalities.
Yeah, and then it's like. And we got to watch movies together and do video chats and like all this stuff, and it was fun. But like, there were things, of course, about like the long distances, just like ooh, this is not great. You know, like just, and you know, I'm sure, you know, she feels it too, or anyone, or most people who have been in a long distance situation, like, you know, that there's that distance is thick, it's solid, you know, like you can feel it. It's you know, it's malleable, it's a permeable thing. Like it's something that you're like, I want to break through this, you know, like,
Mhm.
but it's there. It's, you know, it's real. And it sucks, you know. But because of that, you know, like in the like little communication issues that arise in general with people, like, you know, like anyone, like
Mhm.
misunderstandings and like little things are so much harder, like at a distance, you know, and like anything like that that happens, it just feels like Stephen, how are you at reconnecting after weirdness in a relationship? Like if you and Tina have like a moment of like discomfort, like what do you guys do? Or like do you have a specific thing that you've noticed about yourself?
So whenever we have a disagreement or something like that where it gets a little more heated than normal,
Yeah.
um I'm definitely the one that wants to resolve situations right then and there and
Yeah, I
end it. And like, but Tina's also the type that needs like the space, and like it takes her time to process and
yeah.
forgive and like understand, or you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot. So like we have like completely different things. So it's tough. It gets really tough sometimes. I always think that like Tina and I we just have that like length of time, I guess, you know, like where we've just been together so long that we'll just stand it out. But there have definitely been like very uncomfortable moments,
Yeah.
like that, like I said, like when and yeah, no, we handle things completely different in an argument. So I can see
So and then yeah,
I can see in a relationship that was much younger,
right.
you know, having like big troubles if you argued at that like that level, or you know what I'm saying, or something
Yeah. And it's
like that's a difficult thing to handle that early on. Like I've always thought that too, because like it's hard for me to be a judge of these things
yeah,
because I've literally been in one like
I know.
serious relationship.
I know.
And from my perspective, when it comes to Tina, there's really pretty much nothing. Like if she's always willing to push and work, then I'm always willing to push and
Yeah.
work. So there really isn't red flags or anything like that at this point of the game.
Yeah, of
But
course.
I do think that if her and I ever split, I can completely see where those red flag thoughts and stuff start happening, because your first instinct is to not get hurt again and
Yeah.
to protect yourself. And I think that's the difference between me and
Yeah.
people that
Yeah.
I've had.
And I think that's something that's really hard to navigate as we get older is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like those like the difference between like people's like trauma responses, and it's just like, look, you've been through this, so you're hurt in a way, so you have this insecurity, and I've been hurt in a way that I have this insecurity, and now these insecurities are not complementing one another in the best way, you know, they're
They
poking
may
each
they may
other,
as
you
well be
know.
the red and the blue robot just
Yeah.
rocking socking
and,
them
and
each other
like
apart.
and I've had similar problems before with people where it's like because like I'll tell you, Steve, like one of my insecurities, or like something that really bothers me, is when like I I'm not always the most confident person, but I like who I am. Like I like who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I try my best to do what's right in as like when I can, you know, like as much as I can, to the greatest extent that I can recognize. I do, and I try to be a good dad. I try to be a good friend. I try to do all my, you know, everything I can. So it's just like if someone doesn't like me as I exist, I don't really care. Like it doesn't actually
Mm-hmm.
bother me, you know. But what bothers me is when I can see someone trying to define me in a way that I don't think I exist at all. And I, you know, and it's hard to explain that because I'm like, I understand there are 7 billion people. Everyone has a different perspective. Everything is subjective to some extent. So you see people seeing you doing things, and of course, there are 7 billion Anthonys because there are 7 billion, you know, people. So it's like everyone who sees you sees a different version of you, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
if you walk into a store after work and you're looking rough, or you know, like someone sees you and they might think like, oh my god, that guy looks scary or something. You know, it's like, oh, there's an intimidating guy. Whereas I see you and I'm like, I can't wait to hug Steve. You know.
Sweaty or not,
Yeah.
baby.
And it's just like, you know, and you know, like you can have the worst day ever, someone sees you and like suddenly you're a tyrant to that person. It's like that's just how
Mm-hmm.
they define you in that moment. That's why, you know, we have to do our best to see, you know, the intention, and like to the extent that we can recognize that we can't define everyone by a particular moment, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
who the freak knows? We can't define a person, you know, by seeing one moment. But anyway, so like when I'm in a situation where like I feel like my words are being misconstrued like deliberately, or like if I feel like someone is just not listening to me and kind of like creating like a narrative of some sort. I've been in situations where someone has done that like terribly, and I was like, oh, I if I see that at all, it's a scary, terrible red flag, and I'm just like, nope, no, thank you, and I but it sucks because I'm sure that there are cases in which like I'm doing the same thing to them because I'm seeing that, but it's like
You're seeing it through your lens
I'm seeing
of
this
what's hurt you and everything like
exactly.
that.
So I'm like, so my presumption of their presumption is creating like this like, just back and forth like explosion, like I
This
like,
whirlpool with no urine to be seen to take
that's right.
care
We
of it.
need that urine. But anyway, so but that's not always the case. I memean, often
Mm-hmm.
it's you are like I might be a little aware of that stuff, a little anxious, to when I see that stuff, I call it out. But at the same time, I might not always be right about it, but I when I'm right about it, I'm right about it as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are going to be moments in which I'm like, that wasn't okay, and it's in those moments where I have to recognize or like decide whether or not I want to continue in that situation. If I can do anything in that moment to help redefine the perspective, or if I feel like they already have that perspective and I don't think it's changeable at this point, like I don't know, or if it's so interesting how those things work because it's just like there are situations in which someone will have a particular perspective and it's like, oh, I can't do anything to change that, like what am I
Mm-hmm.
going to do? And there are other times where I'm like, oh, they just like misunderstood this one thing. I can talk them through that and give them some, give them wider perspective so they understand. Now they have these facts and it'll paint that picture because now they have different, different palette for
Different.
that particular
Mm-hmm.
canvas, and like I try anytime I can, I try to do that. But when I feel like I'm like, hey, look, here's my canvas, and someone's like, oh, you use this, and they like spray like a particular, like kind of paint across it, and I'm like, no, but I literally showed you as a picture of a dinosaur. I don't know why you just made it into an airplane. And they're like, it's an airplane. And it's like,
It's always been an
it's
airplane.
always been an airplane. I'm like, oh God, I don't even know. It's not. It could be a planosaurus. Maybe if we're talking, like if we really want to work together on this, we can figure this out. But
We can meet in the middle of Beast Wars, okay? This is where we,
exactly.
this is where we draw the line.
So where we draw the line. But anyway, I feel like I'm getting too abstract with the metaphors because I don't because I hope everyone can understand and appreciate my candor when I say like, in these situations, I experience real life human conversations and like real events, but I don't want to give away actual like I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or be like, hey, this
Mm-hmm.
is exactly what happened. This is exactly what they said. And unless they're a monster, like, in the past I did have an actual stalker and I was like, hey, this happened. This is I oof, but in this situation, I'm just like, I don't know. Some stuff happened and I didn't feel good about it. And and then I felt, when you have those moments where you're like, okay, that wasn't great. As long as nothing else happens, like maybe we'll get through this. And then it was just like, it got a little worse and it was just a little too much, for me. I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, it freaking sucked, man. Because like, I don't know. I don't like, I haven't broken up with someone that like I really liked like
Mm-hmm.
it's been weird, like what happened in my previous relationship. We had a huge just like a huge disagreement about something that was very important to relationships in general, which is just like the
Basically
fit.
just an end pass where there
Yeah,
was no way
yeah,
to
yeah.
satisfy either side with a sacrifice at that point of the game.
Yeah.
Like
So in my previous relationship, there was like we had this impasse with like like family dynamics where it was just like, she wanted one thing and I didn't want that thing and I wanted something completely different. So it was like, okay, well, this isn't like a literal incompatibility. I can recognize that even though it sucks. It makes it a little easier, to like to detach here and be like, oh God, even though it sucked, I moved out and had to do all that stuff. But in this situation, it was like I mostly define this person as someone I really care about, just like
mm-hmm.
mostly like I really cared about her a lot. I liked her a lot. And I also think it's so weird, dude, because like I don't know. I feel like the anti-Forrest Gump, where I'm just like I don't know, like I felt love. I've been in love a few times in my life, you know, like I've, but I feel like I'm also really reserved when it comes to saying it to people these days. You know, like I don't want to just be like, hey, I'm saying it to every, like I so like I had it in my head where I was like, look, this is a long distance relationship, and I'm not gonna say I love you to someone I've never met in person. Like I feel like that's like, and I understand some people do. I'm speaking, you know, to my own experience and preferences. That's all. You know, like some people can do that, and that's just, it's never been me. I've always been the person who's super reluctant about that whole situation in general. But I kind of like took that dive, and then I was like, I was feeling, you know, like I had a lot of really strong feelings, and it was crazy, and it's been really weird and hard to navigate because it was like I feel like I did the right thing given, you know, like, you know, what happened, circumstances. I feel like I did the right thing, but I'm still in that place where I'm just like, dang it, like I'm still mourning this thing where like I you know, like I wish I had that mentality, like the kind of like high school mentality to be like, well, these are all the things I don't like about her. Like I wish I could do that, you know, or be like, ah, she's a monster, I'm gonna block her or whatever. That's not where I am. Like that's not where, like, you know, mentally that's not where I am. So I'm just like, so what happens instead is I have you know, I could cycle through all the like, ooh, I wish I could say good morning to her. I would, you know, like I wish we could be watching this movie together. I wish, you know, this could happen. But I also equally know that that's not right. That, like, you know, I feel like I did the right thing, but it sucks because I'm still in this weird mourning place where it's like I don't know. It's
It
just
must be difficult to mourn something that like you basically just have to make what you feel is the best decision for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like to know that that could still exist. You know, it's like, it's not like mourning like a lost, you know, friend or something like that, where there is no other alternative. You just have to accept. This is like in some ways an even more difficult thing because the thing, you know, it exists and, you know, it can be rectified in this manner if you so choose, but
well,
you know, it's probably not the best thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I know what you mean. You mean like you could try. You could. I could have tried. You know, to.
Well, like you could give into those voices that are trying to tell you those things. What I'm saying. Whereas, like, if I'm missing Mike one day, there's literally nothing I can do about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So in some senses, what you're going through is difficult because it's almost it's like constant looming temptation to some extent to like kind of satisfy those like you know, compelled urge, you know,
and it's
compulsions basically.
Yeah, it's true, dude. And it's I don't know what that is though, because it's like there's like the rose-colored glasses of the situation. Because I still reasonably see the other stuff, and I'm just like, look, it's, you know, there is like this, which is another incompatibility. But I feel like I get to the point where I'm just like, I don't know. At this point, I'm not. I feel like my head's in the toilet bowl of the, you know, Charybdis. You know, I'm just like, I'm basically throwing up love. Like I have heartache hangover where I'm just like, I'm never gonna do this again. But I'm like, that's not right. I'm not saying I'm never gonna date again. I am saying I can't even imagine it at this point.
Yeah,
you know, I'm just like,
it's just like after like I remember I got like pukey sick after I ate fajitas one time, and I couldn't eat fajitas for like 2 years. And I love fajitas, but fajitas have a very distinct flavor. And like,
yeah, man. It's weird though. It's weird. Like just going through it's weird, you know, because I've been feeling a little lonely, and I'm like, dude, I realized. So, you know, it was a long distance relationship. And I was thinking about it, and I was just like, it's been 1 week since you looked at me.
No. Dude, my brain went too. I was like, I'm not gonna do it because he's in a serious place right now. I'm not trying to bare naked lady his situation.
Speaking of bare naked ladies,
could probably
no, but I realized, dude, it's been over a year. It's been about a year. Well, it's slightly over a year since I've kissed a person. Like, isn't that weird?
Sebastian the Crab needs to get up in here and let you know that you need to kiss the girl.
Steven, I can't believe you just brought that up. Okay. pin. I'm gonna put a pin in this conversation. Just
Frogs, damn it.
yes, I am gonna go there because here's the thing. Okay, so I recently watched the new Little Mermaid with my son. I'm not gonna go into like a big like outrageous blah blah blah, but I will say I have a couple things I want to say about this movie. One, I waited the whole movie for Kiss the Girl because I wanted to see how they did the frogs on the oars as they were coming up singing because it's so funny. Like it's so cute and silly and ridiculous in the animated one where it's like sha la 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 la.
Yeah.
It's so good. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. These weird frogs singing. How are they gonna get like? How are they gonna show this and be adorable? It's they're frogs, and they're gonna have to look like frogs now. And they didn't do it. There were no frogs. There were zero frogs. This movie is a
Zero
frogless
frogs in
movie.
this movie.
There's zero frogs. I was so upset. Oh my god, I couldn't. But I will say my second thing, just up what.
If they ever make a live action Princess and the Frog, they better just have shalalala frogs in the background in the bayou somewhere just to make up for this heinous crime.
How dare they? Frogless film. How dare you? But second thing, last thing about this, I just want to say, same scene. Steven, I would give anything just to hear what the humans are, what Eric is hearing in that moment. Because there's a crab in his ear who can't speak English.
It's just the worst sound.
Steven, like I imagine
it sounds like it sounds like it needs a mask, like to breathe, like it.
Like because I mean he's like percussion, and you know that's not in rhythm. You know the thing that's actually happening is not sounding like that at all. That's what we're hearing because it's the soundtrack.
It's literally like the scene from like Beer Fest where like with Barry and like what he sees in the mirror versus what's happening. Like Sebastian's just like percussion, and Eric's like. It's just like this terrifying thing that's happening. Dude kept his cool though to kiss the girl.
So yeah, I watched that. But yeah, dude, I thought about it and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the longest I've gone as an adult person without kissing someone, like without being, in a physical relationship with someone where I could, hold their hand or kiss them or whatever, like it's weird. It's been a year. And I guess, it makes me feel weird, like I'm just like. And I know some people, of course, have gone much longer than that. I'm just saying, for me, it's been unusual, and it's been like, oh, okay, I don't know what to do about this. I'm just gonna live my life and try to make stuff and do things. So I've been going about my life, Steven. I've been trying to like move forward, I'm trying to get through it, and I'm not ignoring it. I'm not like dismissing it. I'm moving forward. I'm just like sometimes things happen. I'll like look at social media stuff and like, all right, I probably shouldn't look at social media stuff. It's sometimes it's hard. But so I'll tell you, Damon, the day after it happened, I went to go pick up my son from school, right? And every day from after school, I pick up my son and I ask him the same questions. We get in the car and he's like, Dad, can we listen to this song? And I'm always like, give me a second. I'm going to ask you these questions. So I ask him the questions and I ask him, like, what was your special today? How was school? How was recess? What'd you do? Anything funny happened? All this stuff. And then he's like, he tries to rush through so he can hear this, hear some songs. I'm like, okay, fine. I turn his songs on and I look and I like, as I do it, I turn it up. I'm driving and in the corner of my eye, I see a walker. Like, something like an elderly person, or someone who, uses a walker would use upside down in the grass with the, yellow tennis balls just on the feet of the walker. And I'm just like, I was like, something is amiss. Like what?
These walkers are never without person.
No, no one's just discarding these perfectly good walker tennis balls. Like give those things to a dog. What's going on here? So I put my car in reverse and I back up and I turn. And just past the walker, like 3 feet into this like grassy ditch, is an elderly man, a very elderly man, just on his back with like his like just completely turtled. And I was like, oh my God. So I roll my windows down and I'm like, sir. And he like slowly turns to me and he's like, I fell and I can't get up. And I was like, this is happening right now. So I was like, hang on 1 second. So I pulled my car like out of the way. I put my car in park. I was like, Atlas, stay right here. I'll be right back. And I shut my engine off. And so I run out there and I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Do you feel okay? He's like, I'm okay. I just need, gotta get up. I was like, okay. I was like, are you hurt at all? Like, do you want me to try to help you up? He's like, yeah, if you can. So I was like, okay. So, Steven, so I look at this man and I'm like, how do you want to do this? I was
What's
like,
the strategy we're gonna employ? We're gonna do
yes.
the
So
wrist grabs and pull
that's oh,
back, or are we
that's
gonna
what I
do the
said. And that was my first. I was like, okay, okay. So do you want to do it like this, where we grab and pull? And he's like, we can try. I was like, okay, I'm on board. So I grab it. I grab his arms. He grabs my arms, and I start pulling. And by the way, Steven, this man is very heavy. He says, and I'm quoting him exactly, I'm kind of fat. And I say, I'm kind of strong, like lying.
I got some height and strength
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
shoulders.
So I'm just like, okay, here we go. So I start pulling, and he is very heavy, but I start lifting him off the ground. But he goes, I can't do it, and so I set him down. I'm like, okay, it's okay. We'll find another way. We got this. Don't worry about it. So I was like, okay, I got this. I'm just gonna go behind. I was like, hey, is it okay if I go behind you and I lift you up? And I'll get you your walker. He goes, all right, let's do it. So Steven, so I get my arms underneath this man, and I lift. Steven, what I didn't anticipate was that this poor old man, who was very heavy, had nothing left on his legs as far as like ability to help me lift him at all. And I did not anticipate that. And it it was scary for a second. Like I was, because I'm holding someone and recognizing
You had to tap that little bit of adrenaline, because if you let you basically, because like you reach that moment where it's like, oh man, if I fail now, this is bad.
That's exactly what happened.
I can't fail.
I literally couldn't fail, and I knew it. And Steven, and it sucked. It was so I was just like, I was sweating immediately. I was just like, okay, because mind you, we're in Florida. It's super hot out. This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is the hottest point of the day. We're just so I'm holding him. So I look up and I see I'm assuming his wife walking down the driveway, just slowly walking toward us. And I was like, oh my God. So I realized his walker is about a foot behind me. I was like, maybe I can grab it with my foot and get it, And I was like, okay, I might be able to do this. Maybe I can get her to do it. I'm holding this man. Thankfully, as I'm holding him up and I'm about to grab this walker, another person stopped. A woman stopped and said, "Oh my God, can I help you?" I was like, "Yes, please." I was like, "Will you grab the walker?" So she grabbed the walker, put it up front, and she put her head under his arm. I put my head under his other arm, and we lifted him up and brought him to the driveway and got him on the walker. And he was okay. And I'm sure he's gonna be bruised, because like, dude, I don't even understand how he ended up where he was. If I explain this to you, like, dude, like if you imagine,
if you have a walker, you can't be walking too close to a grass line.
Yeah, and like not only that, so he has a wall. So here's the driveway. Let's just say that's the end of the driveway. There's a mailbox here. There's the gutter with the grass. He was a good 5 feet into.
He must have rolled.
He must have rolled. I don't know. And like, thankfully, he seemed okay. He's probably going to be like a little bruised and stuff. But I was just like, all right, have a great day. Like, good luck with everything, and just like, and we got in the car and we just took off. But I was just sweating. And Steven, my adrenaline for the rest of like that, like next 3 hours, I was just like, oh my God, what if I drop that man? I'm so glad I didn't drop that man. Like, I can't tell you. I was just
adrenaline is crazy though, because like the ramifications later though, like because your body's like, okay, well, you're gonna sacrifice 3 hours of your knees. You basically injure yourself. That's what adrenaline is. It's like we're shutting off your nerve endings that are telling us to shut it down. And
oh man, I'll tell you, like what I was going through is I was going through a thing where I was like twitchy almost, where I was just like, this is what I felt like I was doing. I felt like I was leaping realities. Like I felt like, because I was like, oh, that Anthony's reality, he definitely dropped that guy. Like, oh, that guy, he did not make it. That guy did not survive. Oh God, that wasn't good. And just like all the terrible potentialities that I know could exist in a world, but are also like way more far-fetched. But of course, like it's in your head when you're thinking about that stuff. It's just like,
you think one of the realities was like, help, I've fallen and I can't get up, and you go to help him, and then like the director's like, cut, asshole, we're filming a new Life Alert commercial, get the fuck out of here.
I know.
There's at least one reality where that was the case.
By the way, Steven, I just want to point out how hackneyed our reality is, because Dude, this is the second time in like 2 months I heard someone in real life say a thing that I've only ever seen on TV. It was, I've fallen, I can't get up, and I'm walking here in New York.
Yeah, which is so crazy.
Like, how? Like, I don't know what it is. I feel like it's like I don't know. It's just so weird.
It's major NPC energy is what
It
it is.
really is, dude. But anyway, so I went through that. That was an interesting situation, especially like having
She
like
got to help an elderly gentleman.
I know it felt good. It feels good. Like my one of my favorite things is like I don't know. I don't love talking about that stuff. Like I'll tell you about stuff most of the time, but we're on a podcast, like whatever. It's also an interesting story. I saw an old man on his back in a ditch, like so. I'm not gonna not tell it on
In
the
Florida, like, and I'm
yeah.
gonna be real, this week has been
Oh,
brutal.
it's so bad, dude. It's been so bad. But like like people help people, like sometimes, like I do what I can. I try and like I like being able to do stuff in front of Atlas so I can be like, hey, did you see what just happened? Yeah, you helped that guy. I'm like, yes, I did. I'm like, here we go. So it's like, okay, that's what we do. We help people. And I'm like just like talk through it and stuff. And but anyway, so like,
While you're helping the old guy up, Alice is just in the car listening to his music.
oh
Just
yeah,
like rocking out.
I'm sure he probably didn't even notice what was going on. He a little. I did ask him after the fact. I was like, "Did you see what happened?" He was like, "Yeah, you helped someone." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "But did you see what he looked like?" He's like, "He was on his back." I'm like, "Yeah, he was." It was not good. But yeah, dude. Other than that, I've been mostly meh. I've been in the meh zone lately. Like I'm trying to get stuff done. I'm not like, and it's not bad. I'm not dying. I'm not. It's not the word. Like I'm not. I'm not gonna write plate again.
It's there's yeah, I know. There's just a void that was
Yeah.
being filled that is no longer being filled. And when
Yeah.
it's not being filled, it decides to spew its own chaos into the
Yeah.
world for you. And that sucks. That
Yeah.
does suck, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all. It's fine. And like I'll get through it, and like she'll get through it. I'll get through it, and we'll all move forward. But it's just like it just sucks to be in that place mentally where I'm just like I don't know. I don't want to I don't want to become cynical, but like I hear all of those thoughts all the time where I'm like, all right, I don't maybe I'm just not I'm too old. I already did that. I had my loves. I've been in, relationships. I've lived with people. I've done all of these things. I've been engaged. Like I've had all these stories, with different people and it's like maybe and like I hear my own dumb thoughts where I'm like, all right, well, maybe that's it for my romantic comedy, and like it's time to, do another genre or whatever of life because like what the heck? Like I can only hit that, like I don't want to live like a Hallmark movie. I don't want to like retire somewhere with horses and never do anything with myself. Like I want to make things. I want to make books, and I want to focus on that stuff. But what sucks is talking about that. I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, well, you see, like you were neglecting that stuff when you were with me, and it's weird because it's hard to navigate that stuff, and like it's hard to reconcile those things because it's like, no, I'm just trying to also lean into, hey, okay, if I'm gonna try to be positive and use this time and throw myself into that more than I would have otherwise, that's all. But like I was happy to put my time into the relationship and do that stuff. But having time now to think about new projects and that sort of stuff. So, Steven, I came up with this idea, right? And I like it. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to tell you about it. So let's do like a quick pitches get stitches.
Everybody gather round to the campfire with your marshmallows and smiles, not frowns, because it's another pitches get stitches. Yes, another pitches and stitches.
I really like how you found that frown rhyme. Like,
Yeah,
I
was like, I want to
it.
say frown.
I was like, look, like I could feel that syllable slippage, and I was like, oh, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it.
I'm
There
gonna
it is.
find it.
He found it. It was good. So Steven, okay. Lately, recently I've been really feeling that like filmmaking bug. I've been really wanting to make something, really wanting to like write something. And I always go back to my like practicality. I always go back to like the Rodriguez list of like, hey, here are the things that I have access to. How can I write a movie around those things? That's how I came up with like, Stakeout and like, like some of the movies like Bury Your Dead, like some of these movies that, we talked about. But recently I was thinking about this and I was like, okay, Steven, what if I'm in my room, right? It's me in my room And I'm like looking at my phone. I'm doing the stuff everyone does all the time. I'm super distracted, just like in my room, you know. And I hear noises out in the house, and I kind of just ignore them because you know houses make noises. It's not a big thing.
They
Like unless,
creak, they
yeah,
stir.
they strike exactly. And, yeah. So it's just like I'm not going to be concerned about it. It's just you know you hear the air kick on, like there are things happening, things that like the audience might notice a little bit, but like you recognize it's just like everyday occurrences in the house. It's not a big deal. So you know this stuff's happening. I'm just ignoring everything, just scrolling, and then I'm like, all right. And I like set my phone down for a second. I go to the bathroom or I go get a drink or whatever, and I end up in the bathroom, like wash my face, and the door's closed, right? And I lock the door when I go in there, go to the bathroom, and as I lock the door, the handle jiggles, and I look,
Who
and I
did
just kind
that?
and I just kind of like step back, and I just hear a voice say, "Open the door." And I'm like, who is that? You know, like what's get out of here. What do you want from me or whatever, you know? And they just say, open the door. And I'm stuck in a bathroom and with no phone, and there's a person outside of the door talking to me. And so here's the thing. So then I start screaming, and the voice says, you know, no one's gonna hear you. That's why I chose you. You know, it's like, yeah, that you learn that this person who's outside of the door right now chose me specifically because he knows no one's going to hear me scream. I'm always distracted and I live alone. And he's here to kill me. And I have to choose. So I'm like looking around the bathroom, and the voice starts saying, I'm sure you're looking for a weapon right now. You know, maybe you'll find some scissors. And like you see, like I have the scissors ready. You know, he's like, what are you gonna, maybe you'll hit me with a curtain rod, but I'm much larger than you'd imagine. You know, and just like so he starts saying, he's like, um, but you are my first, and I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do to you. You know, so it starts getting like creepier. Yeah. So you have this like serial killer, like potential serial killer talking to you in a kind of nonchalant way through the door about how he's going to murder you. And my character is trying to figure out a way to like protect himself or go, and so the voice says, just open the door and face me. He's like, it's going to happen one way or another. It's just so. And the problem with it is, this is where I feel like it's going to be polarizing, right? Because I think the best ending is the character should, because what I want to do is I want the character to be in a position where he should make a decision to open the door and face his fear and fight this guy because it's really the only option he has. Because the other option is if he doesn't open this door, what happens in the movie is when he eventually lays there and doesn't hear anyone for a long time, he timidly opens the door and no one's there. And he looks around and he can see there's evidence that someone was there, but now he doesn't know where the person is. And now he's looking around and he hears those same creaks, but he's terrified. And he thinks that there's always someone in the house now. And then at the end of the movie, I want to suggest basically that the guy is standing in his room, just ready to waiting for him.
Like
yeah.
moved.
Yeah. And it would just be
coward didn't even open the door.
Exactly. And it would just be called to open the door, so because the concept,
if you do the open the door like part, would it just be like an open like sort of reveal and then end?
Like for him to open it? Okay, so the problem is I think the character has to fail. Like I think as far as like the story, you get the idea that and I think that's why it's going to be polarizing no matter what, because the options are he faces his fear and he fights this guy and he wins and overcomes the bad guy, and he like stops this guy from his first serial killer endeavor, and he's not the first trophy of someone, or he doesn't do the thing that he should do and he ends up being the trophy of someone else because he fails. So it's one way or another. It's it's like the Olympics of lone living, of not being murdered. It's like, but I think as far as like practicality is like filming it, it would either have to be a fight between the two of them where like he basically home alones him and like rams him with the shower curtain and like comes after him and stabs him and does all this stuff. But then you just have like this weird stranger that's, you know, and it feels like I'm scared that it's going to be anticlimactic no matter what. But I love the idea of living in perpetual fear of this thing because you didn't make the right choice, you know? And because like I feel like for me, it's like the Hamlet thing. Like I'm always, you know, it's like we're always afraid to do things because we don't know what the consequence is going to be. So we don't do it. We take forever to not do it because we fear the outcome, whatever it may be, you know? So it's like, we don't do it. We don't do it. We don't do it. And then that fear defines the moment rather than the bravery, you know, rather than
just
like
going for it,
rather than just going for it and like accepting whatever the fate is, because we don't know. We're never going to know what's behind the door, you know, like there's always going to be something behind the door and we don't know what it is and we're never going to be completely ready for it. But we have to be willing to face it. And if we're not willing to face it, it's going to face us and it's going to destroy us, you know? And I think that's kind of what I want the movie to be. It's because it's going to be a short, you know, it's not like a long movie, but I think it's a short and it could be a fun test short.
And it's definitely very easy scenery wise and everything like that. Very easy practical effects, all that.
Yeah, because it's just.
May I pitch a third alternative ending?
Yeah, go ahead.
Third alternative ending, last 5 minutes of the movie. This voice is just like, you know, doing its thing. You're my first. I've never blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Last 5 minutes is just the character like, you know what? Screw this. Like, I'm sick of being the scared one, this and that. Yeah. He gets his weapons. He's like all ready. He has his like Lost Boys, like bandana tying moment. He opens the door and it's just a giant werewolf and he goes, well, fuck me. And then it just tackles him and that's how the movie ends.
I mean, that's amazing. It's, I mean,
it would completely lose all of its like undertones and everything like that.
Because like, okay, I mean, I had another idea. I almost married this with, so I had a movie. I don't know if you remember this. It was when I knew you. It was like high school days. I have some of it still in my email, but it's called The Dark. And the idea was these people in this car hit something in the dark and they stop after they hit it. So it's in the background, fuzzy, like out of focus. You see the people in the foreground. And the idea of this movie would be it goes into their anxiety, basically. It goes into their mind and their paranoia, and you see what each of them is afraid of it being, you know? So like
what's going to happen if one of them wants to get out and look at it. And
then exactly. So one person gets out and the thing ends up being a zombie. One person gets out and the thing ends up being a person, and they're like, oh my god, what happened? And then there's a monster that was chasing that person, and one person gets out, and then it was like they were all just like fun like subgenres of horror, and I was going to play with the tropes and it was cool. And I was, you know, I wrote this whole thing. So I was thinking about what if it was like open the door and you see this guy's fears, and like, as you know, like one time he opens the door and someone else, it's a different thing, and like each time you see it's a different outcome. It's like a different short film, you know. And that would be cool. It's just it's like more ambitious, and I think I'd lose the like him opening the, like, I like that that metaphor of him doing that. I like what you said about him getting ready. I kind of like, what if we combine without the werewolf, but what if we combine, what if he does make the choice, but it's just too late, you know? Because like, obviously he has to open it eventually, you know? So like, it could either be like a timid, weird thing, or like, I like the idea of him ready to face it, but then there's nothing there. And then he's like, oh shit. Like where did he go? And he's like looking around the house like a warrior ready to face this thing. And then he finally lets his guard down in his room and the guy's standing behind him. You know, something like that, where it's like we don't see the fight, but like there's and I don't want it to just be like a guy. I want it to be like you with a creepy mask or something, like a
something off kilter. Not
like it would definitely be like what you'd imagine, like someone from the Purge, like a first version, or a first attempt at a serial killer. Like you want to be the next, like, you know, Michael Myers or, you know, Jason Voorhees or whatever. Like you're trying to be that thing, so it's, you know, but I do like the idea of kind of like doing both things. Where I don't know, it sucks because like there's a part of me that's like, okay, it's a better movie like subtextually or like symbolically if he fails, you know, or, you know, but like of course we all want to see like that hero's journey. So I kind of like maybe having your cake and eating it too, with like he does make the decision to come out but it doesn't work out the way he wants because we never know what's behind the door. It still works, you know, like there is like there's always something. My fear is, or like what I want to avoid completely is I never want anyone to think like, oh, it's all in his head, or like, oh, it's, you know, like there was no one there. And
like he's battling his own mind.
he's by, yeah. And like that is part of it, but that's the subtext. Like contextually, the film itself, there's definitely a person there. He's definitely in danger. There are stakes. This person's life is in danger, and you know, but I like that. I like the idea of him like bursting through the door, getting ready, and like it's almost like a Saw situation. Like this guy kind of jigsawed him into like facing his fear, but then he is going to make him fight, you know. But like I don't know. As an audience member, I don't know how people feel. I guess my fear is I don't really want to film like a big fight scene. I feel like that would eventually be like anticlimactic. I think it would be cool to just end it with like the guy standing behind him where like you see him kind of ready, but maybe he lets his guard down a little, and then you see like, ooh, creepy guy behind him, you know, and like that it would be like unsettling. And
I think I think what it would be is he opens the bathroom like you're saying.
Yeah.
Nothing's there.
Yeah.
He like looks in the kitchen, does all the things, and then he just like takes the bandana off. He's like walking into his bedroom, and I think you show the perspective of him walking through his bedroom, and then when he shuts the door, the guy's there. Then
behind the bed, yeah.
Cut credits.
But,
you know what I'm saying?
Like that has to be it. I think. Like, do you think that would upset people that they don't get to see the big fight, or do you think it's cool? Do you think they'd appreciate like the?
I think if it's a short film,
yeah,
it works.
Yeah,
I think if you make someone watch a movie for an hour and a half and don't give them a climactic ending,
100%, yeah,
that's punishing.
That's
a short film is supposed to be more punchy and doesn't necessarily need a climactic. Like
I was thinking the same thing, dude, and like that's what I'm thinking. Like I don't think I need a lot of money to make that movie. I have camera, I have some decent lights. I might want to get better audio equipment. You know, like I don't know. I have to write the thing. So after I do the lettering and stuff, I'm gonna write it and then see how it works. So you know, but really, it's just like me in a bathroom with a voice behind the door, and you don't see the guy.
Which I can just send you audio recordings for the most.
Well, what we can do is we can do it here, just like this, and record it, and then I could just use the audio. You know, like that would be cool, right? Like, I mean, we can do a whole table read of it, and then I can even use that audio if it works. And if not, we can always do like ADR later, like, oh, Steven, send me this bit, you know, or whatever.
Yeah, so, I got you.
Yeah, dude, I think that would be cool. And then like you could be the guy, you know, just it's one shot, you know, because other than that, it's just me with a camera in the bathroom, which is like not.
We just never find the time to meet up, so you literally just have to put like this like horrible Photoshop of me just behind you.
It's just Bot. It's gonna be don't make it weird in the movie. It's just Sean, like, oh, thank you, Sean.
Papa Sean.
But anyway, so if you're out there right now, if you just heard that pitch and it sounds like something you'd want to see a short film of, let us know. It helps. I feel like I'm gonna make this thing. Steven, I'll tell you okay, I'm gonna get this is what I'm thinking, dude. I don't think I need much money wise as far as like equipment. Like I do have a decent camera that I can make that with. Like I said, I have decent lights. I do want some audio equipment. But I want to take like at least a week off of work, you know, like I want to take a couple of weeks off of work to be able to like shoot it and edit it and make it good and like put the stuff together and stuff. So I was thinking about running a little Kickstarter for it and being like, hey, this is my first attempt at a short film. I'm gonna try, you know, it's just Steven and I making a film, and like just ask for like $3,000 or $4,000 or something and just see if people do it. And if they don't, it's like, all right, fine, you don't like me, I get it, you know, but
whatever.
Yeah, I don't, but like I want to make it because I think it'll help me feel more confident with like camera setups, with like capturing audio and editing. It'll make me feel better about like scoring. It'll make me feel better about like color grading. And once I do this with this whole short, then we can fit like I think I'll feel more confident and we can stake out. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So like I want to make this because I feel like it's super doable and like really, it's just really filmable. It's, you know, like I'm not sure that it's, my fear is always it's like, oh, it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's not going to be like the most engaging movie to watch one guy in a bathroom for a while, you know, but I feel like it's like an interesting idea. I think it's kind of a cool concept. I've never seen it done before, and I think it's relatable. Like we've all been in a bathroom and like look behind the shower curtain.
Mm-hmm.
And like we can have them. Like we have the moment in the movie where like the guy is talking to him and he kind of looks at the shower curtain, realizing like, what if someone's behind the shower curtain right now? Like it's scary. We get
Yeah.
and we all have had those.
I have punched many a shower curtain in my day.
That's right, and it's deserved it. But yeah, so anyway, if that sounds cool to you, let us know below. Otherwise, Steven, all right, let's get back into it. What are you going to do this week?
Whatever you need me to. I'm rolling filler roll now. So I'm ready to like support you in any way. I did let like a couple people know that I could maybe do a commission or two.
Cool.
In the meantime. So I'm gonna see if I can do something like that.
Oh, that's really
but cool. I also talked to somebody that does shirts that lives near us. So
sweet. Who is it?
I just next time you have it, just send me a list of like the sizes just so I can start getting prices from them. And then I mean, it might not be cheaper, but at least it's local. I mean, we'll see what the best options are.
Yeah. Dude.
I mean, we're gonna be saving on shipping just right off rip to order it from somewhere, but we'll see.
Yeah. No, dude, it's I'm excited though.
I'm thinking purple shirts. What do you think?
Ooh.
Because you know how I kind of give them like those
you have
managers...
that purple background and stuff too. So yeah.
Well, and I was thinking like because like the managers were wearing the purple shirts, like the people that weren't knights were wearing purple shirts. So I was like,
no, that's
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Hey, how about that? Because most of the people that listen and comment, Papa Sean, the people out there, you guys are the ones that are getting the shirts. Do you think purple shirt with the Game Dragon logo? Because that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. I'm excited. I can't wait to get my own Game Dragon logo.
I think we get black ones with the Game Dragon logo.
We get special ones.
We're the assistant and the store managers. So.
Yeah, we are. I love it, dude. I can't wait. We should like one day. We have to make a Game Dragon. Actually, our friend Levi, like friend and fan of the show, has pointed out that they have long blonde hair and happen to own an arcade called Game On.
That's crazy.
And they were like messaged me and they were like, I feel like you're pulling from my life. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like it didn't occur to me at all that I was like, wow, look at this. But of course, like I wrote this a long time ago, but it doesn't, it's like they know. It's not like they're like, oh, you stole from me. I was like, no,
they know.
Except for Steven. Yeah, like we know. But it's just the coincidence is really interesting and really fun. I love that stuff. And I was just like, so everyone gets to be in this book, but me, apparently. But so this week, Steven, I am going to finish lettering this book. I'm gonna finish lettering the book, and I'm going to get it all together and send off for a print. I'm gonna send off for some test prints.
We can probably go ahead and put PDFs together too this week. You think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say we're gonna ship or like send out the digital rewards.
Yeah, but we can probably get the at least a preliminary.
Yeah, 100%.
This is good,
dude. Oh, I can't wait. I mean, as soon as I send off to them to get test prints, then yeah, we can definitely do that. But dude, I'm so excited. I just want to make sure that if there is anything we have to fix in it, the book that we print is the same as the PDF. You know what I mean? Like I just want to make sure
altercations.
Yeah, that's all. I just want to make sure everyone's getting the same book, But it's looking so freaking good, dude. I love this book. I'm so excited for it. I can't wait to see it. It's been a weird week. I'm going through some stuff, but I'll be okay. Steven, I'm so happy for Chasey and for you guys. I'm glad you're doing well. And someone has escaped the urine pool of doom that I'm trapped in. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, Wilson Whirlpool is just really happy with the results of the piss.
I'm reading Don't Kill Myself books. Okay, but we love you all. Thank you all. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for listening in various podcasting apps. We freaking appreciate you. Let us know what you're working on. Let us know what you thought of the show, thought of the the movie ideas, or let us know if you're excited about Deathless Issue 2, because we're freaking excited. We can't wait for people to read this book. Steven, I love you. You're amazing, and you're the best friend ever. Thank you.
I love you too, dude. And I hope you have a glorious week. I hope all of you out there have glorious weeks. We forever appreciate your support and your love. You guys are incredible, and you keep us going through all this craziness. So,
but thank you so much. I'm Anthony.
I'm Stevie Wildcard.
This has been We Have Issues. See you again.
Boom.
You stay in the waiting room. You live there. The waiting room. The waiting room is where you live now.
Waiting room is where I live now.
Waiting room.
So I discovered that Unheavenly Creatures is just 4 chords, bro. I was
Really?
actually playing. I was playing with Cambria earlier.
Nice. Really?
D minor, B flat, F, and G minor.
Really?
That's it, baby.
Is there no capo?
No capo. I was playing.
Wait, what is it?
So I just played the B flat power chord, but I played a D minor chord, and now if you want to get fancy, before the B flat, there's like a transition A, so you can go D A B flat.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You know what I'm
So
yeah,
then
so
we just go after that the B.
after the B flat, he goes to F.
Okay,
And then for the G minor, I just play the 3 on the top and then the 3 on the G, maybe the B.
Yeah.
Skip all those notes in between.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, a full bar G minor, I'm just not about that life. Yeah, you hold them just a little longer. It's like you hold D.